Okay, this video is going to explain how Garden City is trying to force me into a contract. This is how governments do it. They use fear tactics. They use coercion to force you into a contract. Now, here's the deal. I wrote Garden City a letter, and on that letter I asked one question. I said, what law says I have to get a business license? So they wrote me this letter. Well, it's not a letter, it's just a bunch of statutes that they gave me. There's 3 pages. And when Hope handed these to me, the first thing I saw was the word persons. Now, I've been going over this with them for a number of weeks trying to get the truth, and it is very hard to find the truth in government because they simply work for a paycheck and they don't know the truth because this whole legal language is sorcery. So I am here to expose the international bankers who control Garden City and the state of Colorado and the United States with this video explaining what persons is. Okay. Persons. Laws pertain to persons. It says persons subject to license. And then there's another one in here. See, here's how they're going to scare me. They're going to try to scare me here. It says, any persons violating any of the provisions in this ordinance shall be guilty of a misdemeanor, and upon conviction thereof shall be subject to the fine of not more than $300 or sentenced to the Weld County Jail. Okay, now this is coercion to get me to come into contract with them. This is the very thing that is a fraud and against the law because they are using force and coercion, and it is powered by their ignorance. Person, according to the Black's law, is a human being or a corporation that is recognized by law. In the Webster's 20th Century Dictionary, it says that person, from the Latin word persona, literally means a face mask worn by an actor on stage. Bovier's Law Dictionary says, well, here's the letter that I'm going to give to Garden City. It says, what exactly is a person? Bovier's Law Dictionary. Person is the word that is applied, and remember that word, applied, to men, women, and children. In law, the term man and person are not synonymous terms. Applied in this definition may have a legal definition. Apply, according to the Black's Law Dictionary, means to make a formal request. So, when the Bovier's Law Dictionary says person is the word that is applied, that means that there was a formal request made according to legal language. This is sorcery. It takes our English language and puts a legal meaning on it. And it's very deceptive to get you tricked into their jurisdiction, into signing and contracting and following. And they use coercion. They use scare tactics. Okay, so this letter continues. Of course, I just read apply Black's Law Dictionary to make a formal request. Person, according to Black's Law Dictionary, 7th edition. 1, a human being. 2, an entity such as a corporation that is recognized by law. So when you contract with your capital letter name on your Social Security card that was created at your birth, you are in contract with the corporation that is owned by the international bankers and that give their fake money power when you pay it back through your federal income tax through your Social Security card. So this is what I wrote. Excuse me. Geez, I always do that. I believe that when the United States went bankrupt, we had to offer our children to this system of debt money called the dollar, which funds this dummy corporation that is owned by the international bankers. This process of the birth certificate created a legal fiction or corporation that is represented as our name in all capital letters. That's how come it's tricky. Because it sounds like you and you answer for it, but it's not you, it's your image. And then when you acknowledge on behalf of the image that only they can recognize, which is a corporation, you're entering into a contract with them. When we sign to the capital letter name on any government document, we are engaging in commerce with the corporate government owned by the bankers. They needed our voluntary compliance, so they are using trickery and coercion. Edward Mandell House said that if 1 or 2 men out of 1 million find out this system, they have plausible deniability. I believe that when you sign to the capital letters that was created at our birth, we become a person that can be recognized by law, and we give up our rights voluntarily by our ignorance, and Garden City is partaking in the scheme. I want to know and see evidence that I, as a man, am under your corporation, even though there is no contract. So this is the letter that I am going to give to Garden City. I hope that people will wake up and understand that our government is a corporation. Watch my other videos. The Garden City admitted they're a corporation. And they want me to fill out request for service. Corporations offer services. And this is proof that they are trying to force me into a contract, and they are using coercion to get me to contract with them when I broke contract, because this country is bankrupt. We're owned by the international bankers, and every person in government is working for a paycheck. They don't know the law, and they are guilty of, through their ignorance, of trying to force people into a contract with them. This is so simple. They're a corporation doing business, and no law on this earth says that we have to do business with a corporation. Now, here's how they tricked you into a contract. This is the first step of the trick. Here's the first step into tricking you into their contract. A certificate of birth for each live birth which occurs in this state shall be filed with the state registrar. That's a trick. There is no law that says you have to fill it out. It just simply says that a certificate of birth must be filed with the state registrar. It doesn't say that you have to fill it out. This is a trick. This is sorcery. They make you think that you have to fill it out. It doesn't even make you think that. It's their sorcery and their black magic and their and their wicked ways of trying to get you into the system and into a contract. So when you fill out the birth certificate, when there is no law, then this is creating a corporation called your name in capital letters. And this name in capital letters is what you sign to, and you give life to this capital letter name. It is your image. It's the image of the beast, because you are a beast when you don't understand and you contract. Because common sense says that when you sign something, you should know fully what you are signing. And this breaks contract law because we were not given full disclosure of the contract. And Garden City doesn't realize it, but they are using coercion to try to get me into contract. They are threatening me with this. And I specifically said in my declaration that if any entity tries to force me into contract, I will pursue charges against them. And the city, the employees of the city, the board of directors, mayor, city council members, they always look to the lawyer, the attorney, the city attorney, Don Hoff, the city attorney of Garden City, the corporation. And then Don Hoff is the one that tells them what to tell me. So it's like he knows the language. He's the interpreter of the language. And this is what the Bible says to Don Hoff. It says, "Woe unto you lawyers, for you have taken away the key of knowledge. You entered not in yourselves. And them that were entering in, you hindered." So that's what's happening. Is I'm trying to enter into my birthright. I'm trying to enter into my rights, and the rights that my forefathers gave me, and I didn't have to, the right that they gave me not to contract. And here they are trying to coerce me into doing contract and trying to force and enforce their jurisdiction on me through their trickery and their coercion, and they got ignorance on their side. They are powered by ignorance. And the world is going to wake up, because this is the angel of light. God says, "And I saw an angel of light descend from heaven, having great authority, and he lightened the earth with his glory, and he cried mightily with a loud voice, saying, Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great." I am part of that light, and I am exposing the fraud. This is a fraud to take your rights, to take your birthrights, to offer you a full stomach and security through this contract and the Social Security card and the driver's license to take care of you. Please, people, you got to get this. So I don't know where this is going to go, but people have to wake up and understand what is happening in this country, how we are bankrupt, how the international bankers control this country. We became a corporation in 1871, and then we became bankrupt, and then we started offering our children as collateral for the debt. We threw them in the fire. I hope somebody gets this.